Today we're going to be cleaning our Zoneline PTAC, and that's going to include the indoor filters. I've kept these up regularly so they're not really dirty, and I don't have any tears or anything in the filters themselves, so there's no need to replace them. But if you did have a tear or something in the filter, you want to go ahead and replace that filter. And then we'll clean our indoor coil here, again, because I've kept the filters up and have replaced them as needed and kept them clean. The coil isn't very dirty. And then we'll be cleaning the base pan. This base pan allows and directs the water to drain over to the left side and through an opening here that allows it to collect in the back of the base pan. We're just going to be using simple green, just a very mild cleaner, and we don't want to use any high pressure on this either. So what we're going to do is just give it a good spray down with the simple green. This is our indoor thermistor here, and we're just going to remove it, set it aside, and it does have a specific location that we need to relocate that in when we go back with it. So we'll just give it a good spray down here, give the base pan a good spray as well, and then what the heck, let's give our filters a little spray down. I'm going to take just a regular sprayer here and just give the coil a light spray. Just get a little bit of water on there to help loosen up any of that dirt. Then I'm going to take a nylon brush and I'm just going to brush the coil straight up and down so I don't bend these coil fins here. So I'm just going to do a straight up and down brush and get that clean. I can go up. Now then, what I'm doing is I'm cleaning this channel here where the water collects from the indoor coil and giving it a good scrub down. Then I'm going to clean the side here where it runs underneath this bulkhead, the dividing wall between interior and exterior, and then it runs into the base pan. And I'm going to spray from the back to the front with my filters, get those nice and clean. You can see it's already made a big difference in the dirt that's collected on there. And then I'll spray the front. You can see there's still some dust and dirt on there. So I'll get that. All right. It's a little discoloration, but it's no dust or dirt on there, so that's good. I'll take my other filter and do the same. And our filters are good and clean. Just kind of move them around and get the excess water off. Now I'm going to take my hose and I'm just going to spray down the coil a bit. Get it all rinsed off. Now my water's not flowing very well from the front to the back. I've got a buildup of water here, so I'm going to take my drain cleaner and I'm just going to push that until I get things flowing as needed here. Then I can just kind of brush this, help it get to the drain over here. Now something else I just did is I've elevated this side to help that water drain from this side over to here where it can go from through the drain. And I'm also going to give it a slight tilt to the back to get that water running as well. Also going to take the sprayer and just spray this side out here and then give it a spritz to the back there. With that, we've got our filters clean and we've got our indoor coil clean as well as the base pan. So everything's going to flow as it needs to, water's going to drain, and it's going to run as efficiently as it possibly can. So I'll turn the unit around and then we'll start to work on the back and clean the outdoor coil. So now with the unit turned around, we can get to our outdoor coil. Unfortunately, the side we've got to clean is not the side that's accessible. But Zoneline does have a quick access coil cover in which you can remove 4 screws and the cover will come off for access to that coil. For clarity purposes and to do a super deep clean, I'm also going to go ahead and remove the fan and shroud assembly so we can get a real good view of what's in here and what we're cleaning. All right, so like I said, there's 4 screws to remove this quick access coil cover. And there's two different types of screws. These darker ones, the black screws, go into a sheet metal, and then these silver colored ones are ones that will either go into a plastic or into a speed clip type setup. So I'm removing these 4 screws. And then that will give us access to the back side of our coil, to where we could just take a brush, spray down the coil, take a brush, clean it, and then put it back together. But again, because I want you to see everything that we're doing and it really clear, I'm going to disassemble it. This is the slinger ring that's on the outdoor fan, and it dips down in the water at the bottom of the base pan down here. Slings that water on this outdoor coil to help it cool, and cool very efficiently. In order to remove the fan and shroud assembly, I've got 8 more screws to remove. There's 2 on the side here that hold the housing to the outdoor coil. We've got 2 on the support brackets here. We've got 1 on each side of the fan housing at the front, and then 2 on each side of the fan housing at the back. I'll take these. Again, these are the silver screws. These don't go into plastic, but they do go into metal speed clips. And these are the black screws here, because they do go into sheet metal. Make sure I don't drop that. Get in here, remove this one. To get these screws at the bottom, an extension is going to be extremely handy. So I've got a 12-inch extension here that I'm going to use to get down to these screws here. And these are down inside the unit here. And I'll move to the other side, get this front one, and get the back one here. The wiring for the outdoor fan motor comes through a retainer clip here, and we need to get that out. So I just kind of pinch the wires together and then lift up on this, and then I can lift it up over that retainer. There is a retainer clip on this side that I've got to slide up. It holds the coil and the fan shroud together. Now I can just take my entire fan and shroud assembly, lifting it straight up and setting it out of the way while I clean the coil. Find a good place or way to rest that here, and I think that'll work for us. All right, now that we've got the fan shroud removed, we got a whole different situation in the back. Obviously, it's going to collect a lot more dust, dirt. There's leaves in here. Some dirt daubers have come in and started making nests. So we're going to have to clean not only the coil, but we want to get this base pan good and clean as well. So first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to reach in and just start removing the really large stuff and get it out so we can start cleaning the base pan and the coil. Don't remove any plugs or thermostatic drain valves. What that does is it actually negates the efficiency of the unit, because remember, we got that slinger ring in this area here that picks up that water and disperses it on the outdoor coil. So now with that done, I'm going to start spraying everything down. Get my coil. Get my base pan. I'm going to also get the back side of my coil. I'm just going to take a little bit of water and spray it down. Now I'll take my coil brush that I used to clean the front and do the same thing for the back. So you can see this has been in use probably about 6 months. And it's not horribly bad. If you just keep it maintained, it really won't take a lot. There is some discoloration, but as far as dirt and clogs and reducive efficiency, that's not really the case. And even though the back side of the coil is not the side that gets dirty, I'm going to go ahead and clean that as well. And I'm out of camera view here, but I'm cleaning up my fan shroud, so you can probably see some dust and dirt falling off, but I'm cleaning up my fan shroud. So with that done, take a little bit more water and start spraying out my base pan. Now I've got it leaned towards that side, so all of my water is going to come down to that end, and it's going to drain out this overflow. Each side has an overflow. So just keep washing until everything comes clean. And the first thing I'm going to do is spray from the outside of the coil towards the inside, because that airflow goes the other way, and I don't want to try to push anything all the way through the coil. I'll just push it away from the coil and get that dust and dirt off there. Compressor and reversing valve and things back here that you need to be aware of. You don't want to get too much water on it, but these components back here are definitely better suited to handle any water or moisture. Spray the inside of my coil from the top down. Base pan. Get my base pan all cleaned up. Now this right here is an outdoor vent. You can open this. It's got a shipping screw that holds it closed. Unless you have to, I really wouldn't ever open that up, because it does, you know, put an additional cooling load on the unit and brings in additional moisture as well. So, and by the way, even though this will let fresh air in, it's not makeup air. Makeup air is a fan-driven type of system. Looks like I've got everything cleaned up. So I'm just going to take my sprayer and spray everything down. Let it drain out that end down there. Get my coil rinsed off good. I'm liking the way it's looking. Take a peek around the outside here. Here's our indoor coil. And so I've got that channel. Everything's good and clean. Water's going to flow as it needs to. And then I've got that clean. You can see the light coming through there from the back of the drain port there. You can see I'm covering it up. So that's all good and clean. And then our base pan is all good and clean. And like I said, even though we've got some discoloration, that coil is really, really clean. All right, I'm happy with that. So with everything cleaned up, I am going to put my outdoor fan and shroud assembly back in place. And there are a couple of things to be mindful of when you put it back in place. One is that you get the fan shroud on the outside of this end sheet here. Otherwise, that retaining clip will not go on properly. With the fan assembly in place, we'll go ahead and install our outdoor coil cover. The first two screws we're going to use are going to be black screws since they're going into metal. The remaining two screws will be silver since they're going into plastic. With the coil cover secured, we can go ahead and use two more silver screws that secure the fan assembly support brackets to the bulkhead. Now on the left side of the coil, when looking at it from the back, we'll use two of the black screws to secure the fan assembly to the outdoor coil. And on this side, we've got access to the rear screw that secures the fan assembly to the base pan. Moving around to the other side, we now have a good clear view of the two screws that secure the fan assembly to the base pan closest to the bulkhead. Now we've just got one more screw to secure the fan assembly to the base pan on the rear. The last thing we need to do is install the retainer clip that holds the fan assembly and the outdoor coil together. Alright, since I've gotten everything for the interior or the inside clean and ready to go, I'm just going to go ahead and replace the placement of my indoor air thermistor right there where it goes. And then I'll install my grill. So that's it. We now have a clean Zoneline PTAC that's ready to go back into operation. operate efficiently, saving money, and it's going to prolong the life expectancy of this unit because it's going to run so much more efficient with little or no airflow restriction.